can look at it as different types of way to build a house. A modular home, a stick built, and a manufactured home. So it just depends on the type that we want that works best for us. And right now, based on the technology, we are looking to look at SimpleView as that CRM and CMS component. So basically it will build our site and build our database. There are other components that they can do. For example, an SEO component, we are going out to bid for that. That is not a proprietary piece of business that they own. It's something that any other agency and or SEO representative can do. So we'll go out to bid for that. But for this, utilizing this program also gives us future opportunities. Some of those future opportunities is a booking agent and a connectivity to allow those hospitalities and Airbnbs to book directly on our site. And it's funneled through a connectivity that SimpleView has. I'm not saying that's what we're doing now, but I'm showing that futuristically, they offer us resources that we can easily tap into, i.e. can also add events, so people can book as at events. It also, they have a dining component. Again, those are future things that we'll look to and make sure that if they are the proprietary business, we are going to use them. But just gives you ideas of how connected they are in the tourism industry. They represent over a couple of dozen tourism businesses in New York State, as well as across the world. So they're very well known. They understand the dynamics of tourism and how, what I'm going to use, flashy they need to be, and the content driven that needs to be there in order to keep the reader engaged or get them the information that they need in the fashion that they want it. So that is my presentation.
Rob, how much?
Oh.
Right there. No.
Yeah, so it's not on. I didn't put it on there. I apologize. So
Oh, you're right.
there are there's two different types of payments. There is what is called the project cost. So that's going to be the build out of the website. And that's going to be a little under $40,000, two payments of $19,750. And that total is $39,500. Then there is what is called an annual licensing fee. The one thing I want to say that I like about this is we are buying a licensing fee. They manage the entire process. Things go wrong. They don't have to go to a third party plugin to figure out what went wrong. And by the time it comes back to us, we are now 2 weeks later and we've been pushing advertising to that website that has been down on certain pieces. So that's the one thing I really like about it is their licensing. We're paying for it, $29,500. And so that's an annual fee. The $29,500 is the annual fee. That is substantially less than what we have been paying. In looking at the contracts, we're about $40,000 a year, give or take a little above, a little below in what we've paid in the past on an annual basis for overseeing a website from a third party. So in actuality, it is also cheaper for us to go in this route. I will say this, that in looking at some of this, as much as I don't want to come back, I think a good time frame for this is a 5-year contract or something thereof. Technology changes. There's an AI component. Maybe there's a 3-year contract here with an annual review of additional 3 years so that we have that ability to keep sight of what's going on. We have this whole AI going on, and that may change the way websites are populated. And at that time, I want to also be able to come back and say, hey, in 3 years, they are within, what's standard out there, or there's some industry standards that are changing and they're not up to speed. So I want to be able to provide that opportunity. So when technology changes, that we have that ability to not be stuck into a contract. I will tell you, it will take us a little 9 to 12 months to build a site. So first year contract is really just paying for us to build that site and utilize the technology. The next 2 years of, let's say we do a 3-year with another 3 years each year, you know, that will allow us to extend on some of the technologies that they have as well.
Gene?
Mr. Gary,
Staff has already looked at this, right? They kind of like.
The staff is familiar with the back end of our current website, which is with WordPress, excuse me. So there,
They look at this one too?
you may have seen this in April at a committee meeting. You might, because I know that Peter, I did watch that.
I think Peter.
Peter was very much on board with,
Yeah.
oh, I apologize. Yes, the team, the tourism team is on board with this
That's what I thought.
and feel very comfortable with this move.
Mr. Stroud, so, is this in your budget?
Yes,
So it'd be an allocation of what, 69,000?
And-
For year one, but you also want to make a multi-year, so my second question comes up. Are they fixed at the license fee for 29.5 or?
I
many
believe
years?
it's fixed for 3 years. And then I believe we were looking at a 5% increase in that budget for the next 3 years. So not 5% each year, but 5% for the next 3 years. Is that, am I saying that correct?
Yeah.
At 5% each year for 3 years.
And the license fee can go up if we add additional components, right?
So the additional components, so for example, this is why I was only led aware of this last week when I met with Simple View. There is additional cost to add certain things, but part of this budget here also includes some maintenance fees as well. The good thing about the maintenance fees is it basically takes us from $150 an hour rate to $125 an hour rate, and we can incur them. So that would be, if we were to do that, another $7,500. It gives us 5 hours a month. And with that, we can build those hours and use them year after year. So I believe that probably in the first 2 years, we will get 120 hours that we can utilize to fund some of the additional services and or to fund some fixes. All websites, as we all know, if you've ever been on one, sometimes there's glitches. Technology showed its case today. It's never our friend. But that's why we have persons behind it, keeping it up. So I'm going to repeat one more time so that we've got $39,500 one-time fee to build out the site. Then the $29,500 licensing fee. That allows us to utilize the platform. And then one other additional price, which is an annual fee of $7,500. It gives us a total of 60 hours a year of maintenance. And the ability for it to roll over and utilize for additional services, should we wish to do that. At this time, I don't have enough information on all of the booking agents to really look at what that will do for us. I do, in initial thought, think it's a great idea. I've seen it on other sites. However, at this time, I'm not ready to look and present that, but I will be looking into it on its cost factor as well as its uses factor, and even talking to some of the industry folks to see if it's something they are interested in.
In other words, is the staff still going to be able to fill this, what they normally do in WordPress or whatever that other component is, and then it just slides in, or?
What will happen is it'll be built on the Simple View platform with the guidance of us. So it'll be they'll build it in the background based on how we want it to look and feel. All of our content will then funnel onto that site and or new content be written. We have great content writers in our tourism department. So they will write the content and or repurpose it from the existing content. So this site will be built over here. Ours will stay stationary and useful because we're still doing marketing and everything. And then once we're ready to launch this, this site will shut off, this site will shut on, and it'll just take, usually takes a week to kind of go through. You'll still see the site, but what I mean by a week is it takes, gonna get a little tacky again, Google a little bit of time to search through that site to make sure that we are who we are and our information is valid.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, any more questions? Can I just clarify one question? Does Simple View have any issue with it just being a 3-year contract?
They do not.
Okay.
They do not. My concern with, the existing structure. First of all, with them being proprietary, but the existing structure made us go out to bid too quickly. And my concern is I want to make sure that this whole world of AI, I don't know where it's going. And I don't know if it's going to affect websites like they're saying. And I want to make sure that Simple View, so I want to give us also the opportunity to pull out if we need to. I don't believe that we would, but that will give us 2 years to figure, because it takes a year to build and 2 years of that. And truthfully, I know AI is moving quickly, but I don't think it's going to move that quickly to affect anything along the way. And truthfully, them being an industry leader, I can almost imagine that they will jump on board to if there should be any additional technology changes.
So my only real request would be that the proposed resolution be for a 3-year contract.
And they could be out of renewal each year for up to 3 more years?
That would be between the county and Simple View,
Okay,
as long as they're okay with that.
okay,
Given the upfront cost.
Yeah.
You probably don't necessarily want an opt-out after a year.
I agree. Okay,
So our resolution today, since this is an action item, and it's in the tourism department's budget, what exactly are we approving? We have the 39.5 bills. We have the 29.5 annual license fee. We got this potential for another 7,500. And I'm not sure if that's going to be annual or not, but it seems like Heather says that they're interested in doing it for year 1 anyways. And we might be looking at a 3-year agreement. Is there a total number we're supposed to be approving, or just approving the conceptual agreement because it's already in the tourism budget?
I believe you'd be approving those numbers for a future contract with Simple View for year 1. And then year 2, my understanding is that it would be the annual fee of 29,500 plus the additional 7,500 per year for additional hours of on-call work.
correct. That's exactly it.
And if we need to break that out into a separate resolution later, we will. But for year 1, it would be all of those costs. Year 2 and 3 would be limited to the annual licensing fee and then the additional 60-hour fee.
So. All right, so the annual build of this is 39.5, and then we're approving 37,000 license fee and that other component. But she said there might be other costs associated. That means she has to come back.
I will bring them back. I definitely will bring them back because if they have a cost component to them,
And the other annual fees would be 37,000 for 3 years. Okay. I'll make that motion.
This should turn you right all that up for us. Already got it.
I'll second that.
All right, you got a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. All
thank
right,
you.
what else we got here? No privilege to the floor. I think we had that. If nobody has any questions from the floor about a motion to adjourn. It's just trial.
Wait, get back in time.
There you are.
Hey, before I came. I think I.
Thank you.
You do not know how hard it is to make the staff.